When big-time developers leave Rockstar, people sit up and take notice. Such is the case with Terry Donovan, the co-founder of the company, who left to make CrackDown for the Xbox 360. Who would have ever guessed that he'd move on to make a free-roaming, gunslinging, carjacking game? Well, everybody, and CrackDown is proof positive that the nut never falls far from the tree. You can evolve in a matter of hours. You can leap a good 40 feet into the air. You can take down scores of gang members without a scratch. You're a cop of the future, and more badass than RoboCop ever was. Apparently, in the years ahead, we're gonna have the same problems we have now, meaning lots of violent gangs filled with devious scoundrels with tons of guns. As Super Cop, you have to clean up the city of the thugs, and that's about all there is to the story. As an open-ended game, you can basically tackle things in whatever order you want, but that also means that there's no cohesive narrative. Instead, you're relegated to windowed briefings that tell you just how terrible each gang leader is, but they don't demonstrate just how depraved they are. It makes it difficult to care, and compared to the Grand Theft Auto games, the lack of story in CrackDown is downright criminal, but also a product of its design. You begin the game by choosing from a group of prefabbed badasses and set off to earn your reputation. You can only jump a good 10 feet, your aim is bad, and you can barely lift a trash can. The more you play, the more your character's abilities increase. Run over rival gang members or rip off a couple of big jumps and your driving ability will increase. The more shots you squeeze off, the better your aim becomes. Blow up enough stuff, and the blast radius of your grenades will grow. The only category that doesn't increase through use is agility. To bump this rating up, you have to collect icons scattered throughout the 3 areas of the city. It's a great motivator to give your mobility a spin, and an excellent way to find weapon silos, which act as save points, in addition to restocking your ammo. There's a specific gang to stomp out in each of the city's 3 territories, with 7 gang leaders to topple before each borough is declared crime-free. When all 3 areas have been mopped up, the game unceremoniously ends. Ultimately, CrackDown boils down to just a few different mission types: races, obstacle courses, and assassinations. Race challenges are scattered all over the city, and some of them can take what seems like forever to complete. If you fall short, it can be hard to convince yourself to try them again. The obstacle courses ask you to use your agility to get from point A to point B, and are probably the most fun objectives of all. The boss assassinations are basically a joke. You find them and then pump them full of lead, and that's about all there is to it. None of the objectives are especially interesting, and they fall well short of the variety you'd find in a Grand Theft Auto game. In what would seem like a really good idea, you can play the single-player campaign cooperatively, but the mode is not well designed. When someone attempts to join your game, you're yanked out of the world for a reload. Conversely, if you're hosting a game and someone quits, it's game over for you too. Then there's the issue of particular players being farther along than others, and, pardon the pun, you can begin to see that it's not all it's cracked up to be. While the RPG elements of CrackDown are compelling, allowing you to play and develop your Super Cop however you see fit, the mundane mission objectives certainly dampen the enthusiasm, and the cooperative play is more novelty than anything else.
Those peacekeepers need assistance, Agent.
The first hour or so of CrackDown can drag as you patiently work on making your cop super, but eventually you'll be leaping small buildings, and this is where the game begins to open up, and the intelligence of the level design comes shining through. The game was designed for superhumans, but it can take a little grinding before you'll get there. There's a lock-on targeting system that works predominantly well, and you can even adjust your aim for headshots as the situation dictates. Driving is probably the most difficult hurdle to overcome as you wait for your cop's ability to increase. We recommend running over as many gang members as possible to bump it up a couple of points before diving into the races. Navigating the environments is incredibly fun once your jumps reach a certain level, and your law enforcer from the future will automatically latch onto ledges, allowing you to scale the tallest of buildings with minimal frustration. The boss battles should be the highlight of the game, but they offer little resistance once you wade through the throngs of hoods protecting them, and overall, CrackDown is a bit on the easy side. More deaths will come from random explosions than from bullets, and the rebounding health meter doesn't exactly ratchet up the difficulty. The weapons, though vast and plentiful, just don't have the oomph you'd expect from games like this. Whether you're firing a pistol or a fully automatic machine gun, they all convey the same sense of power, which is to say, next to none. CrackDown is one of those games that sounds like it's full of good ideas until they're actually put to use. The role-playing elements are addictive for a while, and it can be fun to play in the sandbox, setting up massive explosions and stunts. But the actual game is seriously lacking in a number of areas, and compared to the other GTA clones on the market, it falls firmly in the middle. Ultimately, the game will be known more for supplying tickets to the Halo 3 beta test than its own accomplishments.